Welcome back to Gaming Hot Takes, the series where I read your hottest takes about various video games. In today's video, we'll be talking about one of my favorite pairs of Pokemon games of all time, Pokemon Black and White. You guys know I am a massive Gen 5 fan, so I'm very curious to know what you guys liked or didn't like about Pokemon Black and White, so let's get into what you guys sent. Tepig was the best starter. The low health music was the worst thing in the game, and I'm glad they removed it in future games. So first of all, I can't agree there. I think Oshawott for me is the best starter from Gen 5. Regarding the low health music, I actually kind of liked it because I feel like Gen 5 was for sure their most experimental Pokemon gen. And they did so much that kind of made Gen 5 stand out. One of those things being the song that plays when your health gets low. So I can see why people maybe don't vibe with it. But for me, I actually really enjoyed it because I feel like they gave battles more of an identity. Because it kind of, I guess it kind of motivated you to do better in battles. Because you knew that if you got to red, then your song would change. Like you wouldn't hear the epic gym leader theme anymore. So I disagree with both of these. I think Tepig is not the best starter, probably the worst starter in Gen 5 if I'm being honest. One of the worst fire starters of all time. Sorry, Tepig fans. The low health music I actually really liked. So this one, I respect your decision, but I have to disagree here. Best overall OST. I found triple battles and rotation battles actually kind of fun. Going from the first hot take where I disagree with both, I agree with both of these. I think Black and White, I think Gen 5 is my favorite Pokemon OST of all time. And like you said, triple and rotation battles were so much fun to do. I am so sad that I think Gen 6 had it to an extent. But I really do miss them. I feel like triple and rotation battles would be really interesting nowadays with the terrestrialization. Like, they still have double battles, of course, but I would love to see how chaotic fights would get with, like, triple and rotation battles with terrestrialization, because those would be kind of fun to watch, in my opinion. So yeah, I agree. They were really fun. One of the best ideas, I think, in terms of the battle system in the mainline Pokemon franchise. I hope they bring that back in the future, or like have them make a cameo. I think if we get Gen 5 remakes, we'll probably get that back as a way to like celebrate what Gen 5 did. But until then, we probably won't see it, which is kind of a shame. But hopefully they consider bringing it back in a future gen or in Gen 5 remakes. But and yeah, music is great. I love the OST in Gen 5. I can't stand the subway bosses. Their faces look like Muppets and make me extremely uncomfortable. It's really annoying seeing them everywhere. So first of all, how dare you make fun of the subway bosses? I love Ingo and Emmett, right? They're not my favorite, like, Frontier Brain-esque characters in Pokemon, but I did enjoy them. I also love they brought back Ingo for Legends Arceus, kind of a cool cameo. I guess to each their own. If they look ugly to you, I'm sorry, but I kind of don't agree with that. But, I mean, you can't like everybody, right? There's so many people in Pokemon now that, you know, not every character will be someone's favorite. So, I guess for you, the subway bosses were not one of your favorites. But to me, they're like kind of mid-tier. Like, I don't love them, but I don't hate them like you do. So, yeah, I guess to you, they're Muppets, but to me, they're just people, I guess. I don't know. I do wish that the seasons mechanic came back. It was so good. I wish it was a series staple. Bro, I could not agree more. That was by far one of the best things about Gen 5 was the seasonal changes, because the cool thing is there were certain areas in the game that you couldn't get to unless it was a certain season. So for example, in Twist Mountain, right, there were certain parts of Twist Mountain that you couldn't get to unless it was either snowing or whatever. Icera City is another good example. And I kind of like that because it kind of kept you coming back after like every month passed by where a new season would be introduced. It would kind of encourage you to go back to the game and like, you know, explore the region and see what you missed because you couldn't get to it because of the season that it was at that time. And also I love Deerland and Sawsbuck. I love those seasonal forms for the deer Pokemon. But yeah, I agree here. I kind of hope, I mean, they do kind of have it to an extent, just not like the way Gen 5 does it. But yeah, I do hope that like the triple battles and rotation battles, that they bring back this mechanic for a future Pokemon game. They are like every other pair of games before and after, somehow both overhyped and overhated. My friend, welcome to the Pokemon community. That goes for literally any game they put out, whether it's like you know, Gen 5 or recently Gen 9 or a side series or spin-off or a remake. Like, that's the case for any game. Like, the community is what it is, and it is kind of rough to see because, like, people are so critical, right? Like, they criticize the smallest things, and they think that the game is, like, a trash game because of it. I mean, there's definitely things you can nitpick at with any Pokemon game, right? Even Gen 5, right? There are things that I think could have been better in Gen 5. But I think the community nowadays maybe gets a bit too hot and it gets a bit too critical about certain things. And I don't think Gen 5 feels overhyped or overrated to a lot of people, or sorry, overhated, not overrated. I think there are definitely other gens, like maybe Gen 9, where, like, they were hyped up so much, and then, you know, because they don't run well, unfortunately, people kind of see through their flaws now. But yeah, like I said, it goes for any game in general. Whether it's a mainline game or a spin-off or a remake, like, people want to nitpick and overhate it and overhype it and then get disappointed when it doesn't turn out that well. But, again, welcome to Pokemon. Some of the Pokemon designs are a bit uninspired. So this take I've seen float around over the years, and honestly, I've always kind of disagreed with it because, yeah, we have a trash bag, an ice cream cone, a freaking gear Pokemon. We have like a what is it? There's so many like basic designs for some of these Pokemon, but honestly, I think Gen 5 does a good job of making them stand out. Because, like, you know, the Vanillix line, right? The ice cream line, like, yeah, they're kind of not the best looking, but I always enjoyed them. And the gear Pokemon, too. I can see why the gear Pokemon, Klinklang and Klinklang would be, you know, I guess, uninspired. So yeah, there's maybe some designs in Gen 5 that could have been a bit more creative and a bit more, you know, really out there, but the good thing is Gen 5 has over 150 new Pokemon, so for what might be a couple, you know, uninspired designs, there's a lot of them out there that are inspired, like the legendaries. I think some of the early Pokemon are pretty good, the starters. So yeah, I can agree that some might not be the most, you know, the most out there ideas, but I think the majority of them are really cool ideas, and I would say are at least a little bit inspired. Castelia City is one of the best Pokemon cities. I would add Nimbasa City, I would add Griftvale City, I would add Mistralton City, I would add almost every city from Gen 5, because man, they were cooking with the towns in Gen 5. But yeah, Castelia City is like a goated Pokemon town, like, you know, it's always based on New York City. The entire region of Unova is kind of based on America, you can probably tell, but Castelia City is obviously based on New York, which is why it's so much fun to explore. The song's obviously a banger. Nimbasa is a very, very, like, close second, because Nimbasa City is also really fun to explore with the musical, the little theme park area, the Ferris wheel, the stadiums as well. So yeah, they were just on the money with Gen 5 towns, and it makes me sad too, because like the newer towns in other Pokemon games just don't hit the same, and I thought it might be because like the graphics are different, you know, they're all 3D now and whatnot, but the issue is that they just don't have enough, you know, substance to them. There's no identity to them. They feel just kind of like basic ass towns. They don't really feel like they have a lot going on with them. So I kind of hope that they make, once they make Gen 10, they kind of go back to how Gen 5 did it, where they really go all out with the themes of each town and make them really all stand out. But, yeah, sorry for rambling, but I agree. Castelia City is a goated Pokemon city. Gen 5 may have the best gyms ever because they have great puzzles and theming. Like the towns, I could not agree more. I have said it before and I'll say it again. I think Gen 5 easily has the best overall gym designs of any Pokemon game, bar none. Gen 4 kind of gets there, and I guess Gen 3 maybe, Gen 6 kinda, but Gen 5, man, they were... I know I already said it already, but they were cooking with the Gen 5 gyms. Like, we have a freaking cannon gym, we have a roller coaster gym, a honey wall gym, a freaking spider web silk kind of traveling gym. We have like an underground mine gym. We have a giant like fan blowing gym in Black 2 White 2. Like, man, they were just really, they had so many cool ideas for the Gen 5 gyms, and I'm really glad because they are so much fun to go to. So, yeah, could not agree more here. Gen 5 gyms are something special. The rivals are really not that great. Hao and Hop are so much better. Sharon and Bianca's music is dope, but I hate their characters. So going back to an earlier conversation where I mentioned that there are things I can nitpick about Gen 5, one of these is the rivals. I think Hao and Hop are probably worse. I definitely don't agree there. But I think Sharon and Bianca are definitely among the lower tier Pokemon rivals. And I think the reason why is because the story with them is not as expansive as other rivals. Like, what's a good example? I guess End's kind of a rival. Silver from Gen 2, him being like Giamatti's son. And then, I don't know. Maybe they're like mid-tier rivals, but I don't know. I always liked Bianca and Sharon. I think Bianca definitely has they have better arcs in Black 2, White 2, which we'll get to in a future video. But I think OG Bianca and Sharon are just your typical run-of-the-mill kind of childhood friend/rival characters. So I don't hate them, and again, their song is pretty dope. I do agree there, but I don't hate them per se. But if I was gonna rank every Pokemon rival, which might be a future video, spoiler alert, I might put Bianca and Sharon like maybe mid to low tier because they're good characters, but I think other rivals in other Pokemon games have had more substance to them and have more cool stories to follow. So yeah, Hao and Hop are probably worse for me, but I would say Bianca and Sharon are probably with them, at least close to them in the like mid to low tier of Pokemon rivals. I think we can all agree that everything about Team Plasma's Castle was fire. Fire indeed. Man, that entire sequence after you get to the Pokemon League for the first time and you find Alder being beaten by N, and you see Team Plasma's Castle rise from the ground, and you get to explore it, and you get that epic scene where all the gym leaders come in and fight the Plasma Sages. Such good stuff. So definitely agree here. This whole, like, every single thing post once you reach Alder for the first time is like probably the best part of the story of Gen 5. No surprise there. But yeah, like you said, it is definitely fire. Alder kind of sucks as a champion. He gets beaten down by N and his team is so mid. This take right here is one that I didn't know I agree with until like later on in my life, because when I first got to Alder, I'm like, you know what, I kind of like him. He's not my favorite champion, but he's alright. But over the years, I've kind of agreed with people here. He's definitely, like, I did a tier list not too long ago where I ranked every Pokemon champion, and if you guys watch, you guys might see that Alder is one of the lower tier ones. And the reason why is because his team kind of is mid. Like, he uses mostly bug types, which isn't really a good type for a champion, no offense. But also his character is nothing to really write home about. I feel like other champions along your journey have kind of done more to stand out when in comparison to Alder, where he feels just kind of, I don't want to say tacked on, but he kind of could have been a bit more relevant in the main story, like if they were going to build him up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think he sucks as a champion. I think he's just middling champion. Is that a good word to use? Middling, mediocre, kind of. So he could be better, but I wouldn't say he sucks. I think more probably could have been done with him story-wise. I truly have nothing bad to say about Black and White. It's the best gen ever, and everything about it is amazing. So, I wanted to end on this one because, obviously I agree this hot take video was kind of pointless because Gen 5 is great, Black and White are great, nothing to criticize here. I mean, I'm lying, obviously, but, I wanted to end on here because, yeah, Gen 5 is great, I love it. There are things to nitpick, but I think in terms of like overall packages when it comes to the mainline Pokemon franchise, I think Gen 5 to me is still the definitive Pokemon package when it comes to story, characters, content, post-game, difficulty, battles, unique elements, world design, towns, just everything. Like, I hope that one day we get a package that is like Gen 5 again, where they just really nail every single element of what makes a Pokemon game, or I guess a mainline Pokemon game, a mainline Pokemon game. So, we'll see. But for right now, I think Black and White and Black 2, White 2 are still the undisputed kings of being the best overall Pokemon packages. Alright folks, that is it for my Pokemon, or I guess for your Pokemon Black and White hot takes. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought, and if you guys watching this want to submit your own hot takes, then follow me on X, Blue Sky, and on Discord, because I do post in various servers where you guys can, I'll ask a question, you guys can respond to it with your own hot takes. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, that subscribe button, ring the bell, and smash that like button for more amazing hot takes to come. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everybody!